Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're looking into the disappearance of Anthony Murrill, African American male, young boy. He was only 9 years old at the time. He went missing November 14th, 1971 from Atlanta, Georgia. It says he was about 5'2" and weighed about 95 pounds. He was last seen at home in the Harris Homes community on Sells Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. 9 years old. Went missing from his home. There's the picture of him. Just 9 years old. Okay, so here's a picture of him. And there's an age progression photo. And it says when 9-year-old Anthony Murrill vanished from his Atlanta housing project in 1971, there was no public outcry, just the anguish of his family and those who knew him. The lovable little boy was well known in his community and often made grocery runs on his purple bicycle for elderly neighbors. A lot has happened since that day, November 14th, 1971. 8 years later, marked the beginning of the 1979-1981 Atlanta child murders, which, along with other shocking cases during that time, awakened the nation to the problem of child abduction. And let's see. And then it talks about the DNA from his family. The forensic artist created an age progression of what he might look like today at age 61. He's been missing for more than 5 decades, but the answers are still out there, so our search for him continues. We're hoping people who knew him and his family, who lived in his neighborhood, attended his school, will come forward to share their stories about what was going on in Atlanta in 1971. You know, the thing is, you might have heard somebody talking and not believe them. You might have heard stories. You might know things and not even realize that you have this information that could be helpful. If you have any information at all, please come forward and let them know. You know, you could email and CC a couple people to make sure they get the information. You could email the police department, detectives, and the sheriff's department. You could write it all down first. You could write letters maybe. It says the smallest bit of information or the most distant memory could help connect the dots. At the time, he was living in the Harris Homes housing project with his mom, Ola Lee Murrill, and his 3 brothers, Stuart Knox, Vincent Murrill, and Alfred Murrill. His parents had split up. His father was living in North Carolina. Their single mom would work her fingers to the bone, so her kids would never go hungry, and always did her best to make the holidays and birthdays extra special. And there's a photo. When Anthony disappeared, his distraught mother never gave up hope of finding her youngest child. She chained Anthony's bicycle to the front porch for him and always left the light on so he could see his way home, his brothers said. Lord of mercy, that thing stayed on the porch a long time, Stuart Knox, age 67, said of his little brother's beloved bicycle. That's the only thing she had. His mom died 15 years ago without ever knowing what happened to her son. His father died in 2011. Back in 1971, the police considered him a runaway, although he'd never run away before. He'd never gotten into any trouble. The family doesn't believe for a second he ran away. A neighbor told the family he had seen Anthony playing outside, then saw him get into a vehicle with an adult male. There was no reason to run away because they said that he was the king of the family. He was the youngest. He was a baby. He got whatever he wanted. You know, people loved him because he ran errands for them. They said, one of them said he was my favorite brother. Mama was crazy about him. He was a lovable kid. He was not a runaway. And there's the photo and the aged progressed photo. If you have any information, please come forward and let the authorities know. Bobby McCann, a senior at a Sandy Springs High School in nearby Georgia, helped underprivileged kids, and tutored Anthony. A photo of Bobby and Anthony was featured in a local newspaper article. McCann remembers Anthony fondly, including the time he and his then girlfriend took him out to dinner at a diner. He kind of got my heart, said McCann, 71, who is now retired and living in North Carolina. He was a sweet kid. McCann was attending college in South Florida when his mother called to let him know that Anthony was missing. That police said he ran away, and he said ran away. That didn't sound like him at all. I think of Anthony from time to time, McCann said. It always broke my heart. Atlanta was very different back then than it is now. Over more than 5 decades, Anthony has been missing. McCann went on to become a teacher, then a principal, and is now retired in North Carolina. When he started his own family in South Florida, he used to take his 2-year-old son to the Sears store at a shopping mall in Hollywood, Florida. Around that time, 6-year-old Adam was abducted from the same store on July 27, 1981. Adam was later found murdered. Everyone was freaking out, McCann said of Adam's abduction. We wouldn't let our children out of our sight. We were all so scared as young parents. McCann didn't realize that Adam's parents, John and Reeve, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, co-founded NCMEC, which is now helping Atlanta police take a fresh look at Anthony's case. Both he and Anthony's family are heartened by the new development. So they've got the DNA entered in CODIS, and they're trying to find information. So if you have any information, please come forward and let them know, because that is just horrific. A 9-year-old child. And here we have the Charlie Project. It says he was born January 18th, 1962. He was 9 years old at the time that he went missing. That would have been just 2 months before his 10th birthday. And then it talks about how he lived with his mother, stepfather, and 3 older siblings. And he shared a room with his 13-year-old brother. They slept in bunk beds. Anthony went to sleep in the top bunk. His brother slept in the lower bunk. He didn't hear anything suspicious. When he woke up, he was gone. There was no indications of a struggle. He's never been heard from again. The police initially classified him as a runaway and thought he might travel to North Carolina, where he was originally from. His father lived in that state at the time. They could not find any sign of him there, though, and they changed their mind and thought maybe he was still in Atlanta. Anthony's family did not believe he ran away. They described him. He was normal. He was happy. He was close to his family. He had no history of getting in trouble. There was no reason for him to run away. So, Anthony, according to Anthony's brother, the boy's stepfather, Edward Groves, was violent and once stabbed their mother. A neighbor reported seeing Anthony getting in to Groves' car, but then recanted his statement. Groves has not been named as a suspect, but Anthony's brother thinks he could have been involved. His brother theorizes that their stepfather sent Anthony to live with Groves' family members, possibly in order to hurt Anthony's mother. So they don't know what happened to him, and we don't know if he's involved or if he had anything to do with it. So we're going to look at some unidentified males, and we have this one. They don't know if this was a male or female, ages 11 to 18 years old, and he was 9, but I'm leaving it in. Found in Carroll County, Georgia, September 10th, 2006. And I have seen the age off a little, so I'm leaving this in. Dr. Julie Wachowski, professor at UWG, was in possession of a human skull. Remains came to the university under sketchy circumstances, believed to be donated by a coroner around the 1970s. Coroner unknown. Remains believed to be an illegal immigrant, but believed doesn't make it so. So I'm leaving this in here because this is in Georgia, and he was 9 years old, and it could have been 11 to 18. So that makes me wonder. And then we have in Broward County, Florida, Boca Raton, Florida, or Boca Raton. Sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, July 15th, 1980, March 28th, 1982, March 28th, 1982. And I don't think any of these could be him because he went missing in 1971. But when I went to search for a young man, I found these. And this one's age 11 to 20, age 11 to 20, age 11 to 20. And they don't know who any of these are. 5'6", 160 pounds. 5'6", 107 pounds. 5'6", 120 pounds. African American male. He had been seen swimming in the canal earlier that day. Recognizable face, so they must have a picture of him. Black hair, mustache, brown eyes. So he's old enough to have a mustache. White shirt, gym shorts, like a dungaree, trousers, white socks, and a belt on the body. And they don't know who this is. And then we have this one. He's 11 to 20. Estimated PMI was 1 day. Found after ship Esperanza capsized. And they don't know who he is. Shorts, trousers, undershorts, and keys. This young man, 5'6", 11 to 20, estimated PMI 1 day. Not recognizable, capsized boat Esperanza, thought to be from Haiti. So I ran across those when I was trying to find if there was anyone that could be that young man. So I decided to leave them in there. But the one in Carroll County, Georgia, I don't know if it could be him. I don't know who it could be because it's 11 to 18. But if you have any information, I always feel like somebody out there has to know something, that there's people out there that have information. So if you have any information, please come forward and let them know. Maybe you gave it to somebody years ago, and even if you did, please still come forward because, it's been years and it goes from investigator to investigator. And some people might, they might try to remember the information. Other people might write it down and they may not have that information anymore. And then information about some of these cases, they get stored differently over the years. So if you have any information, don't just think that they have it. Don't think it's not important. Just please come forward. Please don't forget to pray for his family and his loved ones. Feel free to leave comments and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.